This is Dr. Kavita Singh, Associate Professor in Department of Civil Engineering in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today we are going to discuss on a topic called as types of rocks, and this topic we have already discussed in the previous lectures also. But the thing is, we have already discussed about two types of rocks. Now we are going to discuss about the metamorphic rocks. So we have already discussed about igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks. Now in this lecture, with that continuation of the previous lecture, we are going to discuss about the metamorphic rock. So what is a metamorphic rock? Let us understand what are the applications in the various fields and what is the mineral composition of that metamorphic rock, what is the formation based on their texture, based on their origin, what is the main kind of types of rocks. Let us understand. So in this lecture we will be discussing this. We have already done this, we have already discussed. Now in this lecture we are going to discuss this metamorphic rock. So metamorphic rocks, we are going to learn about what are their, based on the formation, how many types of rocks are there, how they are formed, and what are the various applications in the various field we have to learn today. So first of all, geological classification of metamorphic rock. So how does it classifies as a geologically, how does a metamorphic rock is classified? So metamorphic rocks are formed when existing rocks, when already existing rocks, either the igneous, either the sedimentary or other metamorphic rocks, say they go through a very high temperature and heat and pressure conditions, then they form a metamorphic rock. So this metamorphic rock, basically metamorphic rock, it is formed by either igneous rocks, either it is formed by the sedimentary rocks, and either it is formed by the metamorphic itself. Okay, so metamorphic rock itself, these two, this kind of rocks can be reformed, or it can be changed totally while the pressure and the heat conditions are more. So this metamorphic rock is formed by this either igneous rock, already the origin, already the main base material for this metamorphic rock is igneous rock, sedimentary rock, or metamorphic rock itself. So it is formed when the existing rock, it seems, igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rock are subjected to, when they go through the very high heat temperature, high pressure, or chemically active fluids, causing them to change in mineral composition, texture or structure. So this process we call it as metamorphism. When they go through a very high temperature, heat, pressure, and they are chemically active fluids, causing the change in the mineral composition, texture and structure. So this process is called metamorphism. Now metamorphic rocks are classified based on their mineral composition and their texture. So the texture is typically determined by the degree of foliation. So either they are foliated or they are non-foliated. So the texture is typically, it is totally based on, they are determined by the foliation or the alignment of the mineral grains and the grain size, how they are aligned, in a way in which pattern they are aligned, and what kind of foliation or non-foliation texture it appears on the rock. So let us understand based on the texture, the metamorphic rock, either it is foliated or non-foliated. So when we talk about based on the texture, the rock is either foliated or non-foliated. So what is a foliated metamorphic rock? First of all, let us understand. So these rocks have a layered or banded appearance. It has a very much layered and banded appearance due to its directed pressure, causing mineral alignment. Banded appearance is, suppose this is the rock, so it has a different kinds of band kind of appearance in the rock, like this we can find in the foliated kind of metamorphic rock. So the banded kind of appearance can be vertically or horizontally can be found in that type of particular rock. So these type of rock we call it as foliated rocks. Okay, and what are the rock types and characteristics here? So under this metamorphic rocks, we find different types of rocks like slate, phyllite, schist, gneiss, pegmatite. So these are the different types of metamorphic rock. So after the igneous rocks, this metamorphic rock itself is a rock which is durable for the construction works. Now the parent rock, if we see, parent rock means the rock from where this metamorphism has taken place. So the parent rock for the slate here is shale or mudstone. So when the shale and the mudstone goes through the heat and pressure conditions, then it is formed as a slate. And what are the characteristics here? So if we see, fine grain splits into thin dull sheets. It splits into thin dull sheets, and it has a phyllite slate, fine grain silky seam, and wavy layers. Schist, phyllite, medium to coarse grain visible mica mineral shiny, and genesis here is cyst granite, coarse grain, alternating dark and light bands. So we find, if we talk about foliated means definitely there will be a kind of band appearance on the rock. So pegmatite, genesis, so partially melted and mix of igneous and metamorphic textures. We call it as genesis. Now, how does it looks like? So after the formation of this metamorphism, like shale and mudstone, when it forms, then it forms as a rock. So these are all kinds of metamorphic rock: shale, phyllite, schist, genesis, or pegmatite. We can see here, like these kind of layers. What we are talking about, these are all foliated kind of. Like you can see, there is a band here. So these kind of band, we call it as a foliated kind of texture. Now, non-foliated texture, if we talk about the non-foliated texture here, so these rocks do not exhibit. So in this non-foliated, the rocks will not have any kind of layer or banded texture, because they were subjected to uniform pressure or formed from a mineral that do not easily align. So these kind of rocks which are non-foliated, they are not having any kind of banded kind of layers present on the rock appearance. It doesn't appear like a banded texture, and it doesn't go through the ununiform pressure conditions. It will always go through the uniform pressure conditions. Due to the uniform pressure conditions, there is no band formation of the type of the rocks, and this classification is often basely it is dominant and mineral present here. Now marble here. So this is the example, the main example and the basic example for metamorphic rock as a non-foliated rock here. So non-foliated rock as a marble formed from a limestone or dolostone under the high pressure and temperature conditions. When it goes, this marble is formed. So when you see the marble, there is no banded kind of layers you can see over the marble, because it goes through a uniform pressure. So always remember, when you talk about foliated kind of texture, that means it has a bands or kind of band layers present on that. And non-foliated texture, it doesn't have any kind of bands present on that, because it goes through a uniform pressure conditions. Now marble is a good example for this non-foliated kind of rock, and composed mainly of recrystallized calcite, and it is used in sculptures and construction. Now quartzite formed from the sandstone at the high temperature and pressure. So this is also one of the example here. So basic example is marble. Second thing we can see here is quartzite, which goes through under the temperature and pressure conditions, and it is very hard, composed primarily of quartz. It is composed primarily of quartz and often used as a building material. So because it is a hard material, hard kind of rock, so it can be used as a building material. So this is how the marble and quartzite looks like. So you cannot see any kind of violated kind of structure. It is not there. So that's why it goes through a very uniform pressure. Here you can see a uniform pressure conditions. That's why there is no violation on this, no bandits present on the rock. Now, hornfels is also one kind of non-foliated rocks. So, fine grain formed by the contact metamorphism, direct heating by the magma, composed of various minerals depending on the original rock. Now, anthracite. Anthracite is one of the best example here for metamorphic rocks that comes under non-foliated category and high-grade form of coal metamorphosed under high pressure and temperature conditions. It has a shiny appearance and burns with a clean flame. So when you the best coal out of all types of coal is anthracite, which will give a clean flame and it doesn't give any kind of pollution out of it. And next thing is, this is how the hornfels and the anthracite looks like. Now, classification based on the grade metamorphism. So we have seen classification based on the texture here. Now coming to the grade. Grade wise, how does we divide the types of the rock here? So metamorphism occurs in a range of temperatures, pressures, leading to different grades of metamorphic rocks. So based on the range of temperatures, based on the pressure conditions leading to the different grades of metamorphic rocks. So here we have low grade, medium grade, high grade. So what is a low grade here? Low grade means mineral composition is low grade and mineral composition is low grade to moderate. And medium grade is temperature and pressure will be 400 degrees Celsius to 600 degrees Celsius. And the type of, this is the example of medium grade, that is schist. Now coming to the high grade. So high temperature and pressure is greater than 600 degrees Celsius. So here when it goes under the 600 degrees Celsius pressure and conditions, then these are the examples of high grade kind of rocks, that is gneiss and quartzite. Okay. Now key features of metamorphic rocks. So what are the key features here? The main key features of metamorphic rock here is foliation. First thing is foliation. What is foliation? Is alignment of minerals. These are the arrangements of the minerals, the alignment of the mineral grains in the response to pressure. Whenever a pressure condition goes on, how the minerals, how the particles, how the rocks, minerals are arranged in a manner that we call it as foliation here. So alignment of the minerals is called as foliation. Recrystallization is minerals recrystallizes. It recrystallizes into larger crystals under the heat and pressure conditions. Now hardness is metamorphic rocks tend to be harder than their parent rocks and due to mineral transformation. Texture is from fine grain like slate to coarse grain like gneiss here. Now mineral composition based on the classification. So if you talk about mineral composition based on the classification is quartzite rich rocks. Now quartzite almost entirely quartz derived from the sandstone, and it has a feldspar rich rocks. So gneiss is dominated by the feldspar, quartz and mica, and it has a mica rich rocks. So mica means, if you remember, when we were studying about the minerals in the previous lectures, we have already discussed about mica and biotite, which has a shiny kind of nature. It has a lustrous material, and it is on the Moho scale. It's a very smooth material and a shiny material. When the mica is present, mica rich material means there is a shine in the, like a metallic shine will be present in the rock or the mineral. Okay, so schist, phyllite, slate. So it contains the abundant muscovite or biotite. So schist kind of rock, it contains either muscovite, either biotite. That means these kind of rocks will be having a shiny look, shiny texture, and shiny appearance like a metallic texture. And always these phyllite and slate too, these three kind of rocks may contain more amount of muscovite and more amount of biotite. So muscovite and biotite, so these two types of mineral, it contains mica present in that. Now next thing is carbonate rich rocks. So most of the rocks we see when you talk about the metamorphism process, so marble is a good example for the carbonate rich rocks, so which is composed of calcite and the dolomite. So in this marble, there is lot of calcite and lot of dolomite which is present in the marble here. Now amphibole rich rocks. Amphibole rich rocks is amphibolite, contains amphibole, hornblende and plagioclase are the examples of amphibolite. And high pressure rocks. So what are the high pressure rocks here? So blue schist contains glucophane, blue amphibold, and eclogite composed of garnet or anthracite high pressure peroxide. So these are the different types we can see based on their composition and based on the texture. Now coming to the application part. So how it is applicable in the industrial field, in the construction field, let us understand now. So in the construction and the building materials, so marble. So marble is one of the most important, and it is very much useful in the flooring, countertops, statues, monuments, and decorative elements due to its aesthetic appeal and ease of polishing. It is having an aesthetic appearance, and it has an ease of polishing. So in a construction field, this is the material. Marble is very much important. Now slate, used for roofing tiles, flooring wall cladding, and blackboards because of its durability, ability to split into thin sheets. So slate, used for roofing tiles, flooring wall cladding, blackboards because of its durability and ability to split into thin sheets. Now quartzite, it is used as a building stone. So quartzite is a kind of metamorphic rock which is used for the building material, as a building material in the road construction and as a railway ballast due to its hardness and resistance to weathering. So what is weathering? If you remember, we have discussed many times, weathering is a process which will degrade the rock, which will erode the rock slowly and slowly, and the durability of the rock will be decreased here. So it is resistance to weathering. Quartzite is resistance to weathering process, and it's a very hard material where it is not easily weathered. Now genesis, it is used as a crust stone. It can be used as a crust stone for construction projects and as a decorative stone here for buildings and landscaping. In the industrial applications has a huge demand here. Marble as a calcite rich rocks used in the production of cement, and has a filler in paints, plastics, and papers. Now quartzite used in glass manufacturing as a raw material for silica-based industries. Slate used for pool tables, laboratory benches, and as an electrical insulator due to its non-porous and fire-resistant properties. So it has a very huge applications in the industrial field as well as in the construction field due to its durability and due to its low fire resistant, and it is also low weathered. I mean, it's not easily weathered by the weathering process itself. Now, as a road construction and railway construction, so genesis and quartzites is used in the crust stone. It is used as a crust stone for road bases, railway ballast due to the hardness and the durability process. Amphibolite, used as an aggregate in the road construction. Amphibolite is used as an aggregate in the road construction and as an artistic and decorative uses. Artistic and decorative uses. Marble preferred for sculptures. So sculptures, monuments, and the decorative architecture. So marble is most preferable rock here, and slate used for the gravestones, memorial plaques, and decorative garden features. So in the gardens, as a gravestones, as a memorial plaques, it is used for construction works. So this as a artistic work. Next, coming to the metamorphic rocks in engineering. So when you talk about in engineering, serpentinite used as an ornamental stone. So serpentinite is a kind of metamorphic rock which is used as an ornamental stone and asbestos production historically. Now schist here, sometimes it is used as a dimension stone in buildings, but it is foliated structure can limit its use in load bearing applications. Now metamorphic rocks in jewelry. So how does it useful in the jewelry here? So it will be useful like eclogite contains garnet used in the gemstone as a blue schist. It contains a blue colored mineral like glucophane, sometimes used for the ornamental purpose also. So this was about the metamorphic rock. So if you want to know more about this metamorphic rock, you can just go through this textbooks or references. So we have just studied about types of rocks. Under that, we have previous lecture, including with the continuation part, we have studied about igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. So these are very much important in the industrial field as well as in the construction field. So if you want to know more about this kind of rocks, you can just go through this books or references to find out the more content about it. So that's all for today. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.